Hello, 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 hello. Okay, there's the food trucks right there. Good afternoon. Happy Wives Who Win Wednesday. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I am not in my normal area, and so I was trying to do the phone conference, but no one came on, so I walked out here and across the street to see if I could have this conversation with you all today and to see who was able to chime on. Hey, Sonia, how you feeling, darling? Hey, Cavante. And who's that other person? I can't see the other person. Bring Sonia. No, I don't want to bring Sonia on. Who's that? Hey, Dominique, girl. How was your trip, honey? So, yeah, guys. Hi. How is everybody? I'm excited to be on today. A little tired. Been getting to bed a lot later than I'd like to. And my husband is an extreme extrovert where I am an extreme introvert. Sometimes extrovert, believe it or not. And I feed off of his energy, which for me is a bad thing at night because I can't go to sleep. So because he has so much left in him and I'm trying to wind down, I can seriously feed off of what he's feeling and all of that stuff. And last night he said he was just thinking about a lot of things, and I'm like, I feel that energy, and it's so hard for me to go to bed because then I start thinking about a lot of things and all of that. Anyway, yeah, so I prayed, peace of mind, and for God to give him clarity, me clarity, and all of that other stuff, so we can operate with a clear peace of mind and not feeling overwhelmed or stressed or any of those things. And that's just what marriage is about. That's what relationships are about. So although I didn't really get to sleep well, I still had his interests at heart. And this morning he asked me how I slept, if I slept good, and I said not really. And then I was trying to get ready for work, and then he's up, and he went in the bathroom. I'm like, honey, I need to get in there because all of my things were in there. So it was one of those mornings, and I just went in the other bathroom and I just did what I had to do and get ready and all of that stuff. So anyways, yeah, I wanted to just talk a little bit today, and this is going to be a candid conversation, you guys. I don't know if you saw my video on yesterday that I did, the response video that I did with Leandria Johnson, but I kind of wanted to spin that off, and I wanted to talk more about right versus wrong when it comes to marriage. And what I mean by that is, how we have a tendency to focus on wrong rather than right, and how that affects the marriage overall because we're constantly trying to point out the faults of the other person. And I can speak to this subject because I was very guilty of that. I was a very hypocritical, I wouldn't say hypocritical, but I don't know, some people may call it I guess, because hypocritical is if you're trying to check somebody on something, but yet you're still doing something or something else that may not be the same as them, but you're still operating in a place that may not be pleasing to God, I guess. So I would say more judgmental when it came to certain things in certain areas in my marriage as it relates to my husband in particular. And I would want to point out certain areas of his life. And what I found is that anytime you're looking for something, you're going to find it. So if the truth be told, none of us are perfect. We all have our levels of failure. We all have our levels of issues and problems, as I talked about last night on yesterday. Some more than others. Some struggle with more things than others. Some things I'm not going to struggle with because it was either, number one, never a struggle for me, or number two, I've surpassed that area in my life to where it's an issue for me anymore, whereas somebody else, they may not be there. So we have to be very mindful when we go to judge others, and that includes our spouses, because a lot of times, just because you may be past a certain area or have overcome a certain area, let's say smoking or drinking, and that's something you don't do anymore, it is not then your responsibility, or it's your right to check that person and to want to make them, do what you're doing or project your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs on them. Because even in my household, I don't drink anymore, but I used to, even as a Christian, and I don't believe there's anything wrong with drinking. The Bible says, do not get drunken with wine. But I stopped drinking for my own reasons. That was my personal reason I stopped drinking, and in addition to the nudge of the Holy Spirit, because of some things that he's going to have me doing, it was just not for me. Whereas my husband, if he goes out or we go out, he may have a glass of wine. And if I can just be very transparent with you all, that really bothered me. Initially, I was really bothered by that because I felt because I stopped drinking, then he should stop drinking. But that's not how it works. And this morning I posted something and said, what if God allows or permits certain things to happen? What if he permits certain agitations and discomfort in our lives just to help us grow and expand as people, to see how we would really treat other people when their beliefs per se, or their systems, or the way they do things are not in line with us. Right? So, those I can think of so many different scenarios where I wanted my husband to do certain things that I was doing, or to be like me in certain areas, and that just was not the case. So instead of you constantly pointing out, the wrong in your spouse and what they're not doing right and all of that other stuff, how about let's start focusing on what they are doing right. Let's start focusing on the things that they are doing that are good and pleasing in our eyesight, and allow God to deal with all the other things that you feel is an agitation or an irritant. And because what I can tell you is that all that will do is continue to divide you all. If you're constantly trying to pick him apart or pick her apart, that's only going to cause division. They're not going to want to be around you. They're not going to want to hear what you have to say. They're not going to be receptive to any of your advice. My husband I thank God for my husband. He is very unique person, and he's for me. Like, God made him for me. And I thank God for him. The reason why I say that is because he'll let me know when something is not working. And he told me, he said, honey, you come off sometimes as judgmental. You come off as too aggressive, too abrasive, and I don't receive like that, and I'm not going to receive from you. He flat out told me that at one time. He said, I'm not going to receive from you. I'm not going to want to hear what you have to say. You're constantly trying to drill into my head, this is what I should do. I'm not hearing you, and I'm not receptive to that. So as me as a wife, did I get offended? Yeah, my flesh got offended because I'm like, well, he needs to listen, he needs to do X, Y, Z. But at the same time, my spirit is saying, you know what, maybe he has a point here. Maybe I need to let up, and maybe I need to stop focusing on these things and start focusing on some other things, and learn to appreciate him for who he is. And I just wanted to say that's for you guys as well. We can constantly point and pick apart our husbands. We can constantly point and pick apart our wives. But instead of trying to point and pick apart, let's begin building, let's begin encouraging, let's begin uplifting and seeing all of the right and stop focusing on the wrong. Because what I can tell you is that when you focus on the right, you will drown out the wrong. When you focus on the things that are going good in their life and in the marriage, and areas that they have excelled in, and areas that they're growing in, when we learn to focus on those things, the other areas won't look so huge. Because you're focused on the small, minute things that's constantly irritating you because you're uncomfortable. That's why it's looking so big, but they're really not. And we have to stop doing that, and we have to operate in a place of love. We have to operate in a place of grace. We have to operate in a place of forgiveness. Now, that's not to say that anybody should be getting over on you or doing whatever to constantly offend you, but what it is saying is that you're not focused on their issue or their problem, because it's not yours. At the end of the day, it's not yours. Let them deal with that and let God deal with it. And if it bothers you that much, then you need to take it to the Lord in prayer. And you need to cast all your cares on him, and you need to take those burdens to him. Even my husband taking up the bathroom space this morning. I'm like, really, dude? But it was that for me to go to the bathroom and banging on the door and get out of the bathroom, I need to get in the bathroom and blah, blah, blah. No, just go use another bathroom and take those little feelings that I have that annoyed me and just take it to God in prayer and say, you know what, God, it's all good. Why stir up something that's not there? Why stir the pot? Why stir the pot? So we have to learn not to do that. Hey, sweetheart, how you doing? We have to learn not to do that and look past those small, minute things. Because I can tell you right now, if you look at any relationship, any marriage, any couple, if you're looking long enough, if you're looking hard enough, if you're, you will find something wrong. You will find something wrong. If you look at any person, you will find something wrong. So let's stop focusing on wrong. Let's stop focusing on what they're not doing and what they don't have and how they're not treating us. And that's vice versa for the man and also for the woman. And start focusing on the things that are right. Right? The Word of God tells us to think on those things that are good, that are lovely, that are of hope. Right? Not on those things that the opposite of that. So we have to learn how to start doing that so we can build a healthy marriage, so that we can build a sustainable marriage, so that God is pleased with us. And I believe that so many things are occurring in marriage and in life because we have to demonstrate love. You know, as believers, I said, I don't know, yesterday, we're saying that we're believers and we're operating in love and all these other things and scriptures that we like to quote all the time. If we're saying these things, we're going to have an opportunity in our marriage and other relationships to demonstrate these things. So I ask you today, are you demonstrating those things in your marriage? Drop seeds with love. Yes, drop seeds with love, and over time they will grow. You won't grow or harvest in the same season that you sow. So it may be a while. You may have to continue to seed encouragement, continue to seed positivity, continue to seed love and faith and forgiveness and all of those things, and you will see it after a while. So you have to change direction, change your structure, change your strategy, so you can begin to see the good things in your marriage. Absolutely, Sonia. Celebrating each other in the small things. We have to learn to do that. Because I'm going to tell you, I was that person. I would pick apart and I would look for things and find everything that was wrong. And that was not helping my marriage, and that was not helping me at all. So I had to change that thought process. I had to change my strategy and begin saying, you know what? He's mere man, I'm mere woman. And at any given point, yeah, he may be dealing with this, but I have my own things, right? So we have to start looking at that. And for the men that are on here, you know, she may have this issue, but you have your own things. So let's start focusing on our issues and start focusing on our lack of growth and maturity in certain areas. And we work on that and allow God to work on our spouses. How about that? Does that sound good to you guys? So now for a long live today, I just wanted to come on real quick just to share that with you all. If you found this video helpful, please do share. Now listen, if you share here, you're only sharing in the group. So you have to get the link and then share outside of the group, but share with somebody you know. You know, marriage is not hard. Marriage doesn't have to be this daunting task. It doesn't have to be this thing that we dread. You know, marriage can be made easy, but it takes the two people that are in the marriage to make it easy. You know, the decisions that we have to make are hard. I say this often. The decisions that we make are hard decisions at times. It's hard to put your flesh under subjection. It's hard to, you know, hold in your feelings at times. It's hard not to want to bite back or be rebellious. It's hard not to want to talk back or at times for those of us that are, you know, can be, you know, a little abrasive in our communication at times. So it's hard to do those things. But when we look past those things and our objective is to love one another, our objective is to respect one another, and our objective is to please God, the marriage can be made easy. So that's my time, you guys. I just wanted to come on really quickly. If you have any questions or anything, drop it here. Let me know if this has blessed you, and definitely check it out. Not check it out. Somebody text me. Definitely share. Definitely share with somebody that you feel will be blessed by it. Hey sis, you have to watch the replay. We were on the phone line, but we got off and came on here because no one came on the phone line. So I wanted to try to come out here. Yeah, so I'm outside. I had to come outside and walk a little ways to get on here. So all right, everyone, if this is a replay for you, please go ahead and hashtag replay. And I'll see you next time. Oh, make sure you guys are subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to YouTube channel, please do that. It's hashtag Trail Ravenel, TREALRAVENEL. Every week there are new videos being released. I am on a healing and forgiveness series, so I'll be there for a while until God tells me otherwise, because I know this is an area that we have to work on, and forgiveness has to be something that we implement in the marriage every single day. So that's the season that we are in, our healing and our forgiveness season. And that's just not pertaining to marriage. So if you have any area in your life that needs to be healed, and you need anybody in your life that you need to forgive, definitely check it out, because it applies to that area as well, and it'll make your marriage all the better. So thanks, Sonia. I appreciate you. All right, ladies and gents who will watch this, you all be blessed. Bye.